What is up, YouTube? It's Grinch, and today we've got another tier list video for you. We're going to be looking at every single Jurassic Park and World Lego set that relates to the movies, so let's get into it. Plain old Grinch! Alright, so if you've never seen one of these tier list videos before, this is how it works. We've got our S tier, our A tier, our B tier, our C tier, and our D tier. S is amazing, A is above average, B is average, C is below average, and D is the worst. Before we start, I do want to mention we are only looking at the movie sets, or the sets based off the movies. I know there was Camp Cretaceous. I love that show. I know there was the other Netflix show as well. However, that would add too many sets to the tier list. We don't want to be here for an hour. So that being noted, that being said, let's get right into it. First up, we have the Gallimimus trap set, and right off the bat here, not starting out strong. I think we're going to have to give this one a D. Addressing the red and lime green lizard in the room, it doesn't look anything like a Gallimimus. This actually wasn't even in the movie. I hate the idea of just a kind of an unethical trap here too, just personally. It just doesn't work for me. The mold was terrible, the set was not very good, and overall a very, very forgettable set. Unlike this next one, this is the baby Velociraptor playpen, and this was available at Lego. This was super easy to get. You could buy it. It was $4, and it was the cheapest way to get these baby dinos. You got the little sand green with blue marking baby dino in it. Otherwise, the next cheapest set was $40, and when you just want that tiny little baby dino, this was a perfect way to get it. Of course, the piece count is limited, so the build is somewhat lackluster, but it was really cool because if you bought multiple of these like I did, you could actually put the pen together and make an even bigger pen. So it just worked well. I liked getting half of the pen. Overall, no complaints on my end for a $4 little poly bag. I'm gonna give this a B. It's average, nothing crazy special. It fit its need and it served it well. Next up, we actually have the Dino Market, and this is for the newest movie, the Jurassic World Dominion. Similar to that baby Velociraptor pen, the Dino Market comes with the orange baby dinosaur, but what was really cool and made this one special is that it came with the minifigure that was very plain, so when you got multiple of these, you had multiple of this plain minifigure that you could use with any theme wherever you wanted. And the best part about it is that minifigure was holding one of those amber tiles with the printed mosquitoes. For that reason, I've got to give this one a B as well. Next up on our list, we have the Bricktober minifigure pack. This was also a little bit of a disappointment for me. I'm kind of leaning here between a C and a D. It came with a cool Ian Malcolm figure. At the time, we had never had one before, so looking at it from that perspective, that might be the only saving grace. We've got a billion of Owens, we've got a billion Claires, and they didn't even give us a fourth minifigure. There was a huge missed opportunity here. Knowing now that we get an Ian Malcolm, we get a couple of him, and knowing that there was 4 minifigures in here, I think what would have really made this Bricktober pack legendary would be a better figure selection. I remember when all the Bricktober packs that year were released, this was definitely the one that I was the least excited about because they didn't even give you a fourth minifigure. So for that reason, I gotta give it a D. A Muldoon character would have been really cool here. An exclusive John Hammond would have been really cool here. There was just a lot of different characters that they could have used in that 4th spot, in my opinion, and they didn't. I have to give this one a D. Alright, next up we have Dr. Wu Polybag. This polybag, in my opinion, was just awesome. It was the pre-order bonus for the Lego Jurassic World game. It was a great pre-order bonus. This minifigure was not exclusive, however. You already know how I feel about that, but The only way that you could get him is in that most expensive Jurassic World set, so I think in this case it's fine that we've had him before, because if you didn't get that $120 set, this offered a very cheap way to get him. You still had to get the video game, but you could get this on eBay or whatever afterwards. What was really cool about this though, and what really takes the cake for me, is that special printed amber piece. It's a different piece mold than the just 1x1 brick. It looks like this little arrowhead piece. Really cool, unique piece. Next up, we have our first and only brickheads on this list. We have Owen and Blue brickheads. I really like this brickhead, and at the time, actually, Blue, this was the first non-humanoid brickhead released. And I think they captured Blue so well in brickhead form. I mean, just look at him. He looks so cute. I mean, Blue is just great. Owen is great too, right? He's kind of the flagship character of the new franchise, so of course they were going to do him. In this case, I actually really liked that they did somebody non-humanoid, because, you know, a lot of this new franchise really, you know, circulates around Owen and Blue. Blue is a very, you know, common returning character. There's been a lot of focus on Blue, so overall I was, you know, happy to get a Blue. I would have loved to get some more brickheads, of course, but I'm not dissatisfied that the only two that we got were Owen and Blue, and for that reason I do have to give it a B though. Just in general, right, comparing this to the other sets, there's nothing legendary necessarily about this. You weren't super crazy excited about the brickheads, but you definitely weren't disappointed. If you're a fan of brickheads, you know these were two great brickheads. Probably an A if we were just looking at the brickheads themselves, but considering we've got so many more sets and where they fit in, this is a great display piece, but that's really all it is. So overall, average for me. Alright, so next up we have the first Jurassic Park set on the list. One of the few Jurassic Park sets too, and this is the Jurassic Park Velociraptor Chase. And we had 4 minifigures here. 3 were unique to this set. I believe that Alan Grant was reprinted in the gate later. We also got a brand new color for the Velociraptor. In fact, it's my favorite color, and this might surprise some people, but I actually think that this is an S tier set, and the reason I think that is there was just so many features and Easter eggs packed into this single $40 set. The price was great for what you got, but it's just really cool that you know you can display one side of it, you can display the front of it, you can display the back side of it. You know there's play features in it. Personally, I love to display it with the Velociraptor's face looking through the glass door. It just makes for an awesome display piece overall. So for me, this is exactly what you were looking for if you were a fan of Jurassic Park and knew that we weren't going to get a ton of sets. This is what, you know, you would be happy that you got this, in my opinion, knowing, you know, what else is to come. Overall, just a solid set. You know, some people might think that this is a little bit too high on the tier list, but personally, I really like this set. I had no qualms with it whatsoever, and it's just an awesome display piece and a great nostalgia for the movie overall. Next up, we had the Jurassic Park T-Rex Rampage, and unlike the last set, I'm not going to give this one an S just because it's Jurassic Park. I'm actually going to give it an A because overall I felt like there was a few missed opportunities that could have made this set awesome. You know, I liked the idea of the gate. I really like the brick-built T-Rex. He displays so well, but there were a few things missing in my opinion, most notably the Jeep. You know, I know that would have added to the prices and the number of pieces. However, you know, the Jeep opens up the gate, right? In the movie, that's what happens. The T-Rex actually isn't really involved with this gate, so that I felt like the T-Rex was kind of just a throw-in. The Jeep would have made it for me. It was cool that you got some of the you know, scenes throughout the movie on the back of it, but if, you know, you told me where we were going to get a large 3,000 piece Jurassic Park set that was kind of going to be the flagship set for the entire movie, I would have wanted a visitor center, right? I mean, that would have just been so much better. So overall, I love the gate. I wish, maybe we had a little bit more of the focus on the gate and maybe the brick-built T-Rex separate, and then had a truck with it. So there were some misses for me. That, of course, is just my opinion on this set. I know a lot of people like this set. I do think that as this set ages, it will age very, very well. Maybe as we get more Jurassic Park sets, right, we'll let some of those missed opportunities go because we have them. But knowing that there's only 3 Jurassic Park sets and this is kind of the culmination of it all, it did feel a little bit missed in my opinion. Alright, and one of the newest entries to the list, up next we have the T-Rex Breakout. This set was just released not too long ago. An amazing build. I love the idea of these tinier dioramas, and this is exactly what I was talking about, in terms of this captures a specific scene that you wanted to be captured from the movie. Unlike the previous T-Rex gate set, right? There was kind of just a mishmash of everything. This set captures this scene, and it captures it so well. I know there's some quirks with the brick-built T-Rex, but I'm really glad it was brick-built because you get that really cool standing ability where he can put his foot on top of the upside-down Jeep over there. The Jeep looks great. You almost get 2 of them in the set, but overall, this is just a very good display piece. All that foliage in the back too just captures this so well. The gate or the fence looks so good broken in, and I'm a huge fan of this set. Overall, this set came with 4 minifigures. You got kind of the dirty versions of all the characters that were involved in this scene. You got another Ian Malcolm as well. So just a cool set, really good display, and I hope LEGO does more like this. Maybe in the future, if they do, this won't be S tier anymore, right? If they come out with a whole line of these, we'll have to look at the line, but for right now, this is definitely an S tier in my opinion. Just a really, really cool set overall. So getting into the first of our Jurassic World sets, we have the Pterodon Chase here, and to me, we've gotten a lot of the helicopters before, outside of this theme, just in LEGO in general, but looking at this helicopter in terms of this theme, within the theme, it's definitely probably the worst flying vehicle that we did get. There's not much, that this set really offers. You got the Simon Masrani figure that was really cool. It's probably my favorite version of Simon Masrani, and that might be the only saving grace. This Pterodon does have a really good color scheme in my opinion, but the helicopter just kind of felt like a typical LEGO helicopter that was kind of clunky. It had this large oversized net shooter on the side of it that really distracted and took away from it in my opinion. You did get a cool trooper, but overall, looking at this as a whole, not very satisfied, not very happy with this set. Definitely think it could have been a little bit better, but it is movie accurate, so I will give them that. Up next we have the Dilophosaurus Ambush, and I think this might be a little bit different than what most people think, but I'm actually gonna give this a B. I really like this set. I know the Dilophosaurus is incredibly inaccurate. You do get the gray minifigure here. He was also a little bit of an inaccuracy. It's hard to tell, right? Did LEGO not have the source material when they designed this set before the movie even came out? But what I really like about this movie is overall the Dilophosaurus, I like that it's different. It's cool to get different variations of the dinos versus the same one every time. So, it doesn't bother me too much that, the coloring on this now that we've had better versions of the dinosaur. But what I really liked is the gyrosphere. This was a very cheap way to get that gyrosphere. You wanted to get multiple of those gyrospheres so that you could kind of recreate, a little gyrosphere field, and this offered that way. Otherwise, it's only ever come out in more expensive sets. You got the $120 set from this same line, and then you've got the $80 set from Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, and then you have the $100 set that was a re-release of a Jurassic World set. So overall, this was the cheapest way to get that gyrosphere, and that's really why I'm saying that this is average. I also like this Jeep build. It's a very plain Jeep build, but you could build multiple of them, right? So you weren't bothered that you had to buy multiple of the sets to get multiple gyrospheres, because you got a pretty vanilla Jeep that you wanted multiple of, and then really the only thing that you were so about is getting multiple gray figures. But in my mind, you give and you get, right? So B. Next up, we have the Raptor Rampage, and you know, when I was thinking about this tier list before, I was like, oh, I gotta give that an S. But, you know, I don't know. Looking at some of these other sets now, I don't think I can give it an S. I think I have to give this an A. What an awesome set, though. I mean, this just captures the scene so well. You got a Blue, you got a Delta here, you got Owen and Claire and an ACU Trooper in a really, really serviceable, if not better, build for a Unimog. And you can just recreate the scene, right? You know, looking at what the source material was for this set. You know, you got the Raptors, right? You've got the little headgear helmets too with the strap-on cameras. You got all the characters that you would, you know, reasonably need, including a motorcycle. It's just probably the most movie accurate set in the Jurassic World series. So overall, I gotta say that this one is definitely above average. You were not disappointed with it, and you surely liked this set. Next up, we have the T-Rex Transport, and yeah, this might go down as the most movie inaccurate set that there is in the Jurassic World line. I mean, this T-Rex Transport didn't even exist in this movie. Literally the only reason that you bought this set was for the T-Rex. You know, we didn't have a ton of the T-Rexes on the market at that time. So overall, though, the T-Rex Transport's not even that cool looking. It's kind of an awkward build. You know, you got some ACU Trooper, you got a vet, and you got Vic Hoskins. So, you know, you weren't like necessarily disappointed that you got the set because you felt like you needed to, but you definitely were not excited about it, and when you built it, it was just kind of so. You mostly just got the T-Rex out to have. So overall, below average. I don't think that this is a total terrible set, because you do get an awesome accurate T-Rex. You get some notable characters in here as well. I personally like just getting the plain old ACU Troopers too. But yeah, the build itself is definitely below average. But I think there's enough here to kind of overcome that and not make it a D. So it lands right here in C. Next up, we have the Indominus Rex Breakout. And this is another great set. I think as time has gone on, though, this set looks worse. I am going to give it an A. It's kind of teetering between an A and a B, in my opinion. It is movie accurate for the most part, right? I mean, it's not an 100% replication of the Indominus Rex pen. However, you do get the Indominus Rex, you got a gyrosphere, you got the gray minifigure and the Dr. Wu and that amber piece again, right? That awesome amber piece that only came out in that other poly bag. You did get another vet and ACU Trooper, so minifigure selection was decent because of that Dr. Wu. You got a helicopter, which is kind of, I think, just a spare throw-in with leftover pieces that they had budgeted. And then you got the Indominus Rex. Where I think that this is not aged well, though, is with that Indominus Rex. I know at the time people didn't like it because of the coloring. And then they did re-release the Indominus Rex in a more accurate form of color. So overall, because that Indominus Rex is white, that does take away from it a little bit, in my opinion. So it's an A, but it's kind of teetering between an A and a B, in my opinion. Next up, we have the Raptor Escape. And this was a really cool set. It was I liked that it was another cheap set to get the Raptors in. I believe you got Charlie and Echo in this one. This was a cool set because you had a pen. It didn't really fit up. I mean, you could get them both in there, but they were pretty smushed in the pen. You got Barry too, and then you got another unique vet. But overall, I'd say there's nothing crazy special about the build for the pen. Really, you were just happy that you could get the Velociraptors in a cheaper way. I wouldn't have been surprised if LEGO had put the Velociraptors all in their own individual sets to help sell other sets. And since you didn't have to do that, that's definitely a win for this set. But the build itself is a little bit lackluster, so I can't go any higher than a B, personally. Alright, we have one of these other Pterodon sets. This is the Pterodon Chase. I say it that way because it seems like these sets are always the inaccurate ones, with the first movie and now with this one. This is the first of our Fallen Kingdom sets. You got this tiny little kind of Jeep build with the net catcher that was kind of ugly and obnoxious. It didn't really work well either. Overall, I have to say that this is I'd say this is a D. The difference between this one and the other, the pterodon chase that we had, is that that first one was at least movie accurate. This one's not at all. You know, this scene, you know, if you watch Fallen Kingdom, is not in it. So overall, I think it's a D. It's just kind of a little bit of a lackluster build, in my opinion. So we're giving it a D. Up next, we have the Stygimoloch Breakout, and this set, you know, I think aged better as the movie, you know, came out right beforehand. It just kind of looked meh. I'm teetering between a B and a C. You know, it was a pretty good deal. It was only $30, and you got kind of a cool Stygimoloch dino. You got another Dr. Wu finally in a cheaper set, and you got, you know, one of those troopers. But the build itself wasn't anything amazing. I personally got 2 copies of this so I can make the pen a little bit bigger, and it worked well in my opinion, but we're grading this off of the single copy. I'm having a hard time determining if this is a D or if this is a C. I think I have to go with the C, just slightly below average. Nothing special here. You know, you just really got it to complete the collection. You weren't really trying to go and find this set necessarily. I feel like it also didn't sell super well. I saw it on shelves a lot overall. So for me, this is a C. All right, next up we have a Blues Helicopter Pursuit. And this might be a little bit of a shocker, but I'm going straight to S with this one, and I'll tell you why. This set was $40 and it had 400 pieces. It's probably got one of the most accurate just helicopter builds in general that Lego's ever done, and you could fit 3 figures inside the helicopter. 2 of them could fit on the ends right by the little gunner turrets. You also had a really cool play feature where you had a gear on the bottom of the helicopter and you could spin the helicopter rotor by holding it. So that means you could spin the rotor and hold it in your hand with one hand and do everything. It just was a really cool feature, and I haven't seen them do that again. I don't know why. The deal here was great though. I mean, you got a cheap set with a lot of pieces and a blue dinosaur. I mean, they could have probably charged this, you know, charged you $50 for this set. They didn't. You know, people often say Lego's overpriced, but I think this is a prime example of where they didn't overcharge us for this set, and they absolutely could have. For me, it's an S. You know, if you wanted one set from Fallen Kingdom, this would be my recommendation to anybody, because you get blue. You get a very accurate version of blue too, and just that helicopter build stands on its own in terms of Lego helicopters in general. All right, next up you have the Carnotaurus Escape, and this was kind of the notorious, you know, most overpriced set of the series. I actually quite liked this set. I felt like it captured the scene really well. You had everything here that you needed to recreate the scene. You got a kind of broken up gyrosphere, you got the Carnotaurus, and you got all the characters that were actually involved, which is kind of rare. I can't for some reason give this a C though. I think the only problem with it was the price when it came out, and personally I didn't have that big of a problem because I know you got the gyrosphere, which is a more expensive item, as well as the Carnotaurus, which is a larger dinosaur. So personally I was fine with the price. I understand people's issue with it. You did get a cool Unimog though as well. That was just a really cool build. It looked cool on display. So overall, I might be a little bit nicer to this set than some people are, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to say it's average. All right, next up we have the Indoraptor Rampage at Lockwood Estate. This was kind of the, you know, large set for the Fallen Kingdom series, and I really liked this set actually. It came with the Indoraptor, it came with blue is the only other way that you could get blue, and it came with 6 minifigures, and 3 were unique to this set. Overall, I felt like this set actually displays really well in terms of a display piece. You know, it's just a facade, but it looks really cool on display. It's a tall build too, so it just kind of towers nicely on a shelf. You know, if you're looking at it play wise, you could recreate the scene quite well too, with this fallen glass on the top of the roof, and overall you really had everything you needed here to kind of replay that last scene in the movie. I've got to give it an A. You know, I think, you know, it does its job, and it does its job really well, and I'd say above average from what we're looking at here on screen with all the sets that we've looked at so far. This was a really great set in my opinion. Alright, so next up we have the Dilophosaurus Outpost Attack. I think this is kind of going to be another set where, similar to that Stygimoloch breakout, where I'm going to have to give it below average just looking at all the other sets that we've got. The reason I'm saying that is because it's not really a great display piece. It's kind of an accent piece in my opinion. It's not the star. It's just kind of there on the shelf if you're displaying it. If you're buying the set, a lot of times you were just buying it for the pieces, and it was not at a good price to just buy this for the pieces. It was nice though to have a set where you did just get some generic troopers in it, so that you didn't end up with 50 Dr. Wu's. I did like that about it. But if you were buying this as a battle pack, for the troopers, it was too expensive. If you were buying it for the pieces, it was too expensive. There wasn't really that appeal to this set, other than kind of these sub half appeals that you weren't too excited for in general. So for me, it's a C. Alright, and next up we actually have the T-Rex Transport. And unlike the last T-Rex Transport, this one is actually movie accurate. It's not perfect, right? There are some issues with it, but there is a scene in Fallen Kingdom where they have a T-Rex inside of a transport, and I think that's what they were trying to capture here with Zia Rodriguez, one of the unique minifigures to the set. Otherwise, you got two unique troopers and a cool, unique T-Rex as well. I'm going to give this a B. It is movie accurate. It does capture it well. It felt a little expensive, but overall it wasn't too terrible because you were getting that T-Rex, and the truck build itself is pretty cool. But in terms of movie accuracy, in terms of what you got here, in terms of the price, I'd say it's about average. Nothing special, but nothing that you felt bad about. Alright, and next up we have the Indominus Rex vs. Ankylosaurus. So this set came out in 2020. It was kind of just on its own with kind of some remakes and some, just kind of Lego's own, creative license on Jurassic World sets. But this set specifically was actually based off of Jurassic World, the movie. That's why it's on the list. And I'm going to give this an S. I know that might be kind of a shocker to some people, but I think this just captures this scene so well. The build for the little gyrosphere launch center was really good in my opinion. I loved the roof build. You got an awesome Ankylosaurus. They finally fixed Gray as a minifigure. They gave him the short legs, unlike they did in the original set that he was included. You got another gyrosphere, and then they fixed the Indominus Rex. I wish Lego would do more sets like this, and this is why it was so good in my opinion, because they kind of went back and they fixed a lot of stuff that they did wrong with that original set, and they made it more movie accurate, and it just overall I really like it. It actually works quite well on display in my opinion too, because they did such a good job on that little launch center. It had playability if you were looking to play with it. It had collectability if you wanted to collect it, and it's definitely a nice piece for any collection that stands on its own. Alright, so getting into the first of our Jurassic World Dominion sets, we have the Atrociraptor Dinosaur Bike Chase, and this is actually, I think, one of my more favorite sets of the series. It's hard to tell with these right now because the movie isn't out at the time of this recording, so maybe some of these are terribly inaccurate, but for me, just having built these sets and looking at the images and understanding the dinosaur molds and having a feel for these sets so far without seeing the movie, I have to give this one an A. It's a relatively cheap set. You get a brand new dinosaur mold, you get a couple of really cool alternative printed baby dinos, so it's not just a reprint of the dino, you get a different printing on them. You get two minifigures. It actually attaches to another set. In my opinion, when we have those where you have a smaller set that attaches to a bigger set, typically the bigger set's better. But I think this is the one case where this set is actually better than that bigger set. We'll get to that set in a moment. But I really like this set. I'd say it's above average because it's a good price. You get some cool dinosaurs. You get two characters as well. Only one of them's unique to the set. But overall, definitely like this set personally. Alright, and up next we have Blue and Beta Velociraptor Capture. I think along the lines of this other, that first Dominion set, we get another Blue. This looks to be the most accurate. Looking at him, I still think he's not perfect. I think a dark gray blue would be much better, more movie accurate, with maybe a little bit green accent like we got in the Fallen Kingdom blue. I'll have a review of all the blue Velociraptors on my channel shortly. You do get a baby blue or beta, which is quite a cute little figure, totally different than the baby dinosaurs as well. And then you get just kind of a nice generic pickup truck. You get 2 unique figures as well. Overall, I like this set, considering that you get 2 dinosaurs, 2 figures, and just a generic truck that looks cool on its own. It holds its own, but you can also use it, outside of the license. So I like that a lot about it too. All right, next up we have the plane ambush. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of that dinosaur. I actually really like this set too. I'm gonna have to say that I think it's average. We'll see when the movie comes out. We've already seen this in the trailer, so it looks pretty accurate. I love the plane. There's just something about it that looks a little bit too short to me compared to some of the source material that I've seen. It kind of looks like it's been smushed down just a little bit. It does have some cool features though, where the propellers and the wheels fall off, which is awesome. I like it when those are the type of play features that you get. But overall, I think there was some misses with the dino. Not very mobile. You can't really move the head, so it doesn't quite work because the dino itself is like the size of the plane. But it's cool to get that up, that new dinosaur mold. The minifigure selection is decent. That sticker is quite cool on the side, but overall, I just say it's a cool set. You're happy that you got it. Of course, you're gonna get it, but it's not really that one that you're gonna absolutely remember from the series. Alright, so next up we have the T-Rex and Atrociraptor Breakout. I'm going to have to give this one a C. I just really don't like the build behind it. This is another set that does seem quite expensive, and I think the criticism here is well deserved. This is less than 500 pieces for $80, and at this point we've had this T-Rex in 3 sets, and he's actually come in a couple of junior sets as well. So it's not like this T-Rex mold is difficult to get your hands on. If you have a T-Rex, you already have one, and the build is just kind of a skeleton of a build. This is the set that actually attaches to the set that we reviewed earlier, the Atrociraptor bike chase set, and that's where I was saying, I think that Atrociraptor set just captures the building as well as this $80 set does, and that set's significantly cheaper. You get a cool dinosaur. You do get another Atrociraptor in this set and 4 minifigures, but overall, the truck build is serviceable. It's fine. There's a couple of weird things with it too, and to me there's just a few too many misses to give this an average. Up next, we have the Gigantosaurus versus the Therizinosaurus. I like this set. I actually think it's better than it needs to be. It's really cool that you get 2 exclusive brand new dinosaurs in this as well. I think they could have, if they were being really greedy, they could have absolutely split these 2 dinosaurs up. I think the dinosaurs look good. I like both of their coloring. I like the spine on the Gigantanosaurus, and I like the build. The helicopter build looks kind of funky, but it also looks kind of cool. It intrigues me. I'm going between an A and a B here. I mean, you typically, just get like a facade, but you almost get a full wrap here with the actual lab itself. So I like that. The treehouse is a cool feature too. So overall, looking at this as a whole, it is a little bit expensive. I'd say though, comparing this to the Lockwood Estate, the Ankylosaurus set, the Indominus Rex set, I don't think it's quite as good. I want to put this average. I think really the only saving grace here is gonna be the dinos, and that's okay. B is not bad by any means. It's just average. When I saw this set, I was excited for it, but this wasn't the set that I had to buy from the series. Up next, we have the Triceratops pickup truck ambush, and I like this set. It's finally nice to get a cheap version of the Triceratops. It's the same Triceratops, just with some different printing, and typically that Triceratops has been in at least $60 sets. He's only come out twice before, and for being such a common dinosaur, it's nice to get him again, because that way we can get more Triceratops. I like it when they do their different colorings. I'm looking between a B and a C here though. I'm not quite sure which one You know, you do get 4 minifigures. It's $40 for the set. You get a nice truck build that can be used outside of the theme as well, and a nice little kind of unique ATV build. I think I'm gonna have to give this a B overall. You know, there's nothing really bad here, but there's also just nothing really amazing here. I know I love getting the Triceratops, but that's about it in terms of this. So overall, I'd say average. Alright, and up next and last, we had the Pyroraptor Dilophosaurus Transport. So for me, I like this set. I love getting this Pyroraptor. You know, this could have been one that they could have put in a different set. So we'll see where it falls in the movie, right? You know, how accurate some of these sets are. For me, I'm going to play it safe here. I'm going to say this set's average. You know, it's priced decently well. You get 2 dinosaurs. I really like the Pyroraptor. You know, I've already said that, but I do want to stress how much I like that piece. It looks cool. It's too bad there's not more manipulation with these 2 dinosaurs. I think that would have definitely made it an A if we had an updated Dilophosaurus here that could have moved his arms or legs, or if that Pyroraptor could have moved his arms and legs. That would have for sure been an A in my opinion. But since they're, you know, similar to what we've gotten, the build is cool. I love getting the Biosyn truck too, because that's kind of, you know, the new corporation in the new movie. So overall, I'd say average. Nothing crazy special here, but definitely nothing disappointing in my opinion. Alright, so that's it. That's our tier list. That was a lot. Hopefully you stayed till the end here. If you did, let me know in the comments what's your tier list. What are your 4 favorite sets from all of the movie sets? Do you like the old Indominus Rex or the new Indominus Rex better? Let me know. What's your favorite set that came with the Gyrosphere? Personally, I love the one that came with the Ankylosaurus. I think that just captures the scene so well. Let me know your thoughts. Like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks.